At 4 in the morning, the world tends to feel still. Streets are empty, windows are dark, and most people are asleep. But on a quiet block in Lancaster, California, a doorbell camera switched on. Its motion sensor detected movement, and the lens captured a figure emerging from the shadows. A man, pulling something large across the pavement. He gripped the corners of a heavy fabric bundle, leaning his entire weight backward as he dragged it inch by inch. His steps were slow, strained, deliberate. The bundle scraped across the concrete with a dull, dragging sound that cut through the silence. Every few feet, he paused, adjusted his hold, and kept pulling. Finally, he reached a parked car, lifted the bundle with effort, pushed it into the trunk, and closed it with a firm slam. Then he drove into the night, leaving behind a scene that would soon unravel into one of the region's most heartbreaking investigations. The woman inside that bundle was named Sheylla Cabrera. She was 33 years old, a devoted mother of 3 boys, and a woman who came to the United States from Peru with a dream shared by millions around the world. She wanted safety. She wanted stability. She wanted a life where her children could grow without fear. Friends described her as gentle, warm, and hardworking. She was known for her soft smile and the calm, patient way she spoke to her children. But behind her gentle nature, she carried a weight she rarely shared. For years, Sheylla was trapped in a cycle of domestic violence. Her husband, 36-year-old Sheylla Cabrera, had been accused of violent behavior even before they left Peru. According to her family, he had mistreated her physically and emotionally, and had even harmed one of their children. The move to California did not end the abuse. Instead, it followed them, silently shaping the reality inside their home. Those who knew her noticed subtle signs, moments where her smile dimmed, where her energy seemed depleted, where she looked over her shoulder more than she had before. What made everything harder was the threat that hovered over her. Her husband often warned that if she left him, he would take the children, disappear with them, or keep them from her forever. For a mother who loved her boys more than anything, that fear was paralyzing. Leaving meant risking the unthinkable. So she stayed, hoping she could endure it long enough to find a safe path forward. But by the summer of 2025, she had reached her limit. Something inside her shifted, and she began planning. Quietly. Carefully. She told close friends she wanted a divorce. She told her parents in Peru that she was preparing to file a report with authorities. She was scared, deeply scared, but determined. She loved her children too much to continue living in fear. That final phone call with her family, filled with worry and hope, was the last time they would ever hear her voice. On August 12th, friends reported her missing. She had stopped answering messages. She hadn't shown up where she was expected. Her sudden silence felt wrong to everyone who knew her. Deputies arrived at the apartment complex to investigate, but quickly sensed something wasn't right. Her husband gave different versions of what had happened, each one contradicting the last. He said immigration officials had taken her. Then he said she ran off with another man. Later, he suggested she'd been involved in an accident, but offered no details. None of it aligned. None of it made sense. Detectives dug deeper. They spoke with friends, co-workers, neighbors, and soon learned about the long history of abuse, the threats, and her recent attempt to leave. With each new piece of information, the situation grew darker. What started as a missing person call was quickly becoming something more serious. And then, detectives found the Ring camera video. The early morning footage showing a man dragging a heavy wrapped object across the pavement. Detectives watching the video felt their stomachs tighten. The shape, the weight, the way it moved. It did not look like luggage, or trash, or anything innocuous. They knew what they were likely seeing. This was evidence of a body being transported. The timestamp placed it in the early hours of August 10th, 2 days before anyone reported her missing. With this new information, the Homicide Bureau took control of the case. They began searching the Angeles National Forest, a vast expanse of rugged terrain stretching across mountains, cliffs, and canyons. Finding a single person in the forest is like searching for a needle in 1,000 haystacks. But the teams persisted. Helicopters flew overhead. Rescue crews navigated dangerous drop-offs and thick brush. The work was slow, difficult, and meticulous. And then, on August 16th, they found a bundle of fabric lying over the side of a steep embankment. Inside was the body of Sheylla Cabrera. Her death was confirmed at the scene, and the investigation shifted from search to pursuit. But Josimar was already gone. By the time her body was found, he had taken their 3 sons and fled the country. He crossed into Mexico first, then traveled into Peru by land. Authorities tracked the movement of the children and eventually located them, placing them into protective custody. Because charges had not been filed at the time he crossed the border, Mexican and Peruvian officials could not detain him immediately. The children were eventually flown back to Los Angeles to be reunited with their grandmother, while their father remained missing. Everything changed on August 21st. Prosecutors officially charged him with murder, with an allegation that a knife had been used as a deadly weapon. The next day, an extradition warrant was issued. Interpol released a red notice, marking him as a fugitive wanted across the world. From that moment, his capture became a coordinated international effort. He remained at large for nearly a week. Then, on August 27th, he walked into the Interpol headquarters in Lima and surrendered. Video released by Peruvian authorities showed him handcuffed, escorted through a hallway with officers wearing Interpol insignia. He appeared calm, resigned, as though he knew the pursuit was closing in. He remains in Peruvian custody while extradition proceedings continue. Once returned to California, he will stand trial. If convicted, he faces a sentence of 26 years to life in prison. Back in Lancaster, the community gathered to remember Sheylla. Candles were lit, photos were placed on display. Neighbors spoke softly about the woman they knew, about her kindness, her perseverance, and the life she tried so hard to build. Her story touched many because it reflected a reality that often goes unseen. Domestic violence does not always show itself in public. Many victims live quietly with fear, hoping things will get better, hoping their children will be safe, hoping they will find an escape. Her life now stands as a reminder that support systems matter, that resources matter, that paying attention matters. If someone you know is afraid, isolated, or showing signs of distress, reaching out could save a life. No one should have to navigate fear alone.